Hello everyone. Welcome to the Syed School. Today we will learn about the VLAN routing with layer 3 switches SVI. What is a layer 3 switch? A layer 3 switch, also known as a multi-layer switch, is a networking device that combines the functionality of both a traditional switch and a router. It operates on both the data link layer, layer 2, and the network layer, layer 3, of the OSI model. Layer 2 functions. Switching. Layer 3 switches can forward packets between devices within the same layer 2 network, VLAN, based on their MAC addresses, just like a traditional switch. Layer 3 functions. Routing. Layer 3 switches can route packets between different layer 3 networks, subnets, based on their IP addresses, similar to a router. This allows them to connect multiple networks together. What is a SV, switch virtual interface? A switch virtual interface, SVI, is a virtual interface, not physical port, that allows a layer 3 switch to route traffic between different VLANs. It acts as a logical connection between a VLAN and the layer 3 routing engine of the switch. Here's how it works. SV configuration. You configure an SVI for each VLAN you want to route traffic between. IP addressing. You assign an IP address to each SVI, which acts as the gateway for devices in that VLAN. Why SVI? While ROAS can be a viable option for small networks, SVIs are generally preferred for larger, more complex networks due to their superior performance, scalability, and security features. The optimal choice depends on the specific needs of your network. Configuration of SVIs. Step 1. Enable IP routing on the switch if needed. 1. In some layer 3 switches like 2960, we need to enable LAN-based routing using the command. SDM prefer LAN-based routing in global configuration mode. 2. Reload the switch in enable mode. 3. Execute the command IP routing in global configuration mode to enable key commands like show IP route. However, the SDM prefer command is not needed if enabled in the switch by default. Step 2. Configure one SVI per VLAN. These are the commands to configure SVIs. Let's configure the layer 3 switch SVIs now. Let's look at this topology for SVI. We have used a layer 3 switch with SDM prefer command enabled by default. So, no need of SDM prefer command here, however we need to execute IP routing command. We have used 2 VLANs and 2 subnets. Let's configure 2 SVIs here per VLAN and assign IP address of the subnet with respect to the VLANs. Let's go to the layer 3 switch to configure VLAN 2 and add host 3 and 4 ports to VLAN 2. We have created VLAN 2 and added the 2 ports to it. Now, let's execute VLAN 1 SVI and VLAN 2 SVI command to create 2 SVI. We assign subnet 1 IP to VLAN 1 SVI and subnet 2 IP to VLAN 2 SVI. After 2 SVIs, let's move to VLAN 1 to assign subnet 1 IP. Let's assign default gateway, which is VLAN 1 SVI IP address, and move to VLAN 2. We have assigned subnet 2 IP address and VLAN 2 SVI IP address as default gateway. Let's ping VLAN 1 host 1 and see if we get the reply. We see no reply as IP routing is not enabled on this switch. Let's enable it using the command IP routing. Now, the VLANs can communicate. Let's check the routes using show IP route. We see 2 subnets connected to VLAN 1 and 2 SVIs. Now, ping VLAN 1 from VLAN 2 to check communication. We see the replies. So, we are able to perform routing using SVIs.